Welcome everybody, your Coach Borino with you on this lovely Tuesday, rainy though, cold, but that doesn't mean we can't have a good time. We do this every Tuesday. It's good to have you here. My name is Borino. I am a real estate coach. I'm an author. I used to be a real estate agent, full-time real estate agent in California. And I hang out with you guys in our favorite group called the Rockstars, which is right here. For those of you watching this on replay who are not members, there are still about 3 or 4 real estate agents who are not members. The rest of you belong to this cool group where we hang out, we teach each other, we help each other, we support each other. And then every Tuesday, 12 p.m. noon, we get together and we talk about everything real estate, your success, money, mindset, which is what we're going to talk about today, handling objections, dealing with clients, generating good leads, and being successful. Let's take it again. Need a sip of my morning cappuccino, I guess. Being a successful real estate agent. I answer your questions, I help you as much as I can, and then you go out and make money, hopefully, and help people and be cool and win all that good stuff. All right. So, everybody good? Is the sound good? Is the sound quality good? Where is it? Here it is. All right. Jacqueline says, mindset is always a consistent work. Absolutely. Good morning to you, Mr. Jake, as well. Beth is saying good morning. Back at you. Good morning. Pam is checking in, and Jacqueline. Everybody's here. So the audio is good, the picture is good, the sound, you guys can hear me because we did some adjustments to our sound system here in our Borino awesome studios. My dear Victoria, lovely to have you. Hardest working real estate agent, no doubt about it. And a boot camp graduate, right? Nice to have you. And Rajveer is checking in. Good to have you, Raj. Always, always nice. All right. So we have about an hour to talk about this mysterious thing of mindset. I'm going to give you some practical tips. I'll give you 3 books you should read that will help you with that. But we want to narrow it down because talking about mindset would be like talking about success in real estate. Where the fuck do you start? Where do you go? How? Well, it's so complex, right? It can be. So what I wanted to narrow it down to is not just talking about feeling good, being passionate, being optimistic, but also applying it to a practical element of real estate. And you know what that is? You know where you struggle more than anywhere else? Tell me if I'm right. Prospecting. Prospecting is the hardest hurdle. Dealing with rejection, dealing with strangers, dealing with people, getting out there, whether it's on the phone, in person, email, text, all these channels that you have opened for communication, it's prospecting where the mindset reflects the most. True or false? Yeah? It is the hardest thing, right? When you come, yeah. Jacqueline agrees, Pat agrees. Good morning, Pat. That's the hardest part, right? Is especially the initial contact and then some follow-up. Once you sit down with the client, once they say, Pat, we want to sell our house. Let's talk. Once you get them, or once you work with the buyer who says, we like that house, can you help us get it? I know, I tell you don't work with buyers, but I know you guys. You're going to work with them no matter what I say. But it's getting to that point that's always the hardest. It's getting to that point that our mind simply refuses to do things that you and I both know will produce money. That's the hardest thing. So today we're going to talk about why is it so hard? What part of our mind makes it so difficult? And then I'll give you some steps and practical insights and tools and tips that you can use, you can apply. There's nothing to sell here. I don't have anything. I mean, I have plenty to sell you, of course, but the purpose of this is to help you, to unlock and get you unstuck from that point where you're frustrated, you know you're fucking around, you know you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you know doing more of prospecting, doing more of these things that generate leads is good for you, but to actually get going. Cool? Is that a good agenda for today? We might get a little long, we might run a little long. Normally I wrap this up in an hour, but forgive me if I stay a little longer because I actually have slides I want to show you. I did a presentation I prepared for you. We're going all out fancy for you guys, all right? So ask questions that relate to mindset. Where do you struggle the most? What is the most difficult part? And then we're going to address it. I am no renowned author or expert on this. I can tell you the only things I'm going to share with you are things that I've struggled with in my past as an agent, as a coach, as a business owner that helped me. Things that have helped me. This is not a secondhand advice. This is not something I've heard or read. This is something I applied. You will be your best coach because some of the things that we're going to talk about today, you're going to try and they're not going to work at all for you. And some of these things you're going to go, shit, this is amazing. This is awesome. So I encourage you, Start with an open mind. Start with a mindset saying there's got to be a solution out there for me. That's the best place to start. And the reason I want you to start with that is because if you look around, one, there have been others, or there are others, and there will be others, who struggle with the same issue. It is the hardest issue in this business, is the mindset. But if you look around at agents who have succeeded, I mean, you can use me as an example. This poor schlep from Czechoslovakia figured it out. Trust me, you can too. There's nothing unique about me that you don't have, no qualities that I have that you cannot develop. And there are many others, whether it's here on Rockstars. We see these posts daily, right? You saw it from Sean, you saw it from Jackie, you saw it from who else was posting recently? Jessica. All these people posting, hey, look, I got these listings, I mean these clients, I got these deals going. So you know it can be done, and you know mindset has to be part of that success. It cannot be struggle, and it shouldn't be struggle. And as you learn today, it doesn't have to be. So that's our premise. That's what I want to talk about. Good agenda? You guys like that? What's your feedback? Good to meet you, Mr. Joe Fox, as well. Nice to have you, sir. Is this your first time here on live? Good to have you. We do this every week. We talk about real estate every week. Ms. Gail Zintek, always nice to have you. Lovely to have you back from your cruise. Looked like it was fun. You learned some cool stuff. Myra, okay, so everybody agrees. Anton agrees. It's the prospecting that makes the mindset the hardest. So today you will understand a few things. One, where is this counterproductive stand or emotions or these lack of actions come from? You will understand it's not really your fault. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. And I'm not here to yell at you today. Today will be a unique session. Borino will not be, well, maybe there'll be some yelling. But it really has more to do with our evolution, with our neurobiology, with the way we are wired as human beings and the way we interact as a society, as a cultural groups, than anything else. So you're not broken. Maybe you're a little broken. Everybody's a little bit broken. But this is something you can fix. This is something that just understanding it will help you and give you some ease. Groovy? Before we get into that, I want to tell you a story about one of my first real success students. First people who came, grabbed what I was teaching, and ran with it. And it's this guy. This is a friend of mine, a student of mine, whose name is Jimmy Noble, who when he approached me a few years back, just got out of the military. Got into real estate, started doing real estate. He's in Baltimore area in Maryland. And when Jimmy came to me, he says, dude, I need your help. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm broke. I'm starting this thing. I have a fiance. We'd like to get married. I want to start a new life. I just got discharged from military with honors. Can you help me? So I put a little package together. I taught him something about expireds. He got the expired plus, went on his way. A few months later, he started crushing it. Became extremely successful. Today, Jimmy, I don't know if you're watching, Jimmy, if you're here today. If you are, man, always enjoy hanging out with you. I did a couple of presentations for him, for his office. We had lunch. It's a great guy. Doing extremely well. He has the Noble Group now, Jimmy Noble Group. Very successful agent. When we started working together, and I actually recorded, I have an old interview somewhere. There's an MP3 recording somewhere with Jimmy. He disclosed something really interesting. Picture this. Here's a young man, strong, healthy, powerful, who was just released from the military. And I talked to him, I said, Jimmy, what did you do in the military? He says, I was a member of Special Forces. We were trained to kill people. I was a very efficient killing machine. My job was to infiltrate enemy lines and kill. I could do it with my bare hands. I was trained with several weapons, knives, guns, etc. Pretty cool, right? I said, Jimmy, what is the biggest obstacle you're facing in real estate? He says, I'm scared shitless talking to expired listings. Think about it. Here is a kid, a guy, a young man, who can kill you with his bare hands in a matter of seconds, knows 17 points on your body that if he punches once, you go down, you're dead. He's a deadly man, trained for combat, and yet he's scared. He's nervous talking to expired listings. Now analyze it. Think about it for a second. What is the danger of talking to expireds? Can somebody take the phone and electrocute you? You go, fuck, blah, 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 you're dead. Isn't that possible? There is no app for it yet, although I know some people who would love to have one, right? Get rid of some of the calls. Can somebody reach out through the phone and go, I'm just going to strangle this fucking agent? That's not going to happen. Can they shoot you like you're talking to, and you're dead? Can any of that happen? Is that possible? It's not possible. This is not a weapon. It's perfectly safe. What's the worst possible outcome of talking to a for sale by owner or an expired or whatever, prospecting? They're going to yell at you, they're going to cuss you out, and they're going to hang up on you. Whoop-de-doo. And yet even a trained killing machine, soldier, and many of you who are from law enforcement, military background can relate to it. It's still fucking hard. It's still difficult. I had a military training. I had a military background. And it still was hard. You know, my first expired listing, one of the first expireds, I met this guy named Art. And Art showed me his very simple approach to expired listings. I didn't know there is such thing as expired before I had met Art, really. He showed me basic approach. You call them, you list them. And I figured some of them don't have a phone number, let's go visit them. So I had my little business card, and I had a little sheet of paper from my company, the list of homes we recently sold. I was with Century 21 at the time. And I pulled up, back then, my old little car, pulled up in front of the expired. And I'm like rehearsing what I'm going to say. And as I'm holding the paper, this is me in the car. That was me, shaking. I smudged the paper. There were wet imprints on the paper. That's how nervous I was. And I sat there for 22 minutes. And no matter what I kept telling myself in my brain, my ass and my legs said, fuck no, not going anywhere, not doing this. Why is that? Why do we struggle so much with something so simple as having a simple conversation, or just even walking up and knocking on somebody's door, or picking up the phone, doing basic, simple prospecting activities that you know are going to get you money. You know you're going to get business if you do that. I'll give you the answers today. You're in the right place. Can you relate to that? Any of you experience similar things? Yeah? Yeah. Where's my mouse? Here it is. Yeah. Struggling with this today. So perfect timing, says Make A. Fantastic. You're in the right place. Yeah, you guys can totally relate. Fear of rejections. Gloria is absolutely right. Yeah. Sharon says, I love the honesty. I struggle with the same fear of picking up the phone. I struggled with it a long time, Sharon. I totally do. It's a struggle, not committed enough. It's totally a struggle, Gloria. So now, let me give you some good news and some bad news. The bad news is, you're going to struggle with this. I don't have a magic pill where you go, take this, FSBORINO Fear Buster 3.0, and you take it. And you go, ta-da, give me the fucking phone. Look at me go. There's no magic answer. But there are answers and there are solutions. But before we get into solutions, we need to understand what the real problem is. First, understand this. You are not broken. How you feel is normal, how we feel most people feel. Yes, there are exceptions. There are exceptions, you know, those natural-born salespeople. People who can sell literally ice cream to Eskimos, condoms to nuns. They can do anything, anywhere, anytime. They have the gift of gab. They can talk the ear off. They're funny. They're center of attention. They have high energy. And they can sell the shit out of anything. Did I just say condoms to nuns? I think I did. Anyway. But for most of us, that's like almost unattainable pinnacle to reach that peak, to be that person. Although we strive, and every single one of you, I know you guys try. I know. But it's not something that's within us. So no matter how deep you dig, it's not going to just magically come up. So much for the bad news. Now, here's what's really going on. And I will demonstrate this. This is a brain. And no, don't send me emails. This is not an actual brain. I'm not that weird. Right? To be or not to be. All right. So we're going to take that brain apart. Hold by a tape. Now let me show you what's causing you grief when you prospect. It's this part right here. Can you see it? Right there. That's called the crocodile brain. It's called the lizard brain. It is the first part of our brain that developed through evolution. It's about 280, 285 million years old. We started there. That was the first thing that started developing in our little brains, when we're still hairy, running around with spears, killing shit, and eating berries and doing all that stuff in loincloth. That's the real culprit. So it's not the psychology as much as it's neurobiology. So now, what's going on with our croc brain, crocodile brain, lizard brain. I call it croc brain. Buddhists, you may have noticed I'm a Buddhist, refer to it as the monkey brain, the chatty brain. It's also called the ego. It's also called the drunken monkey. Mike Ferry coined that term in Superstar Retreat, I think in 1843 or something, I remember, in Superstar Retreat in Palm Springs, California. So it has different names, but it's the same thing. It's the croc brain that's causing the trouble. And the reason it's causing the trouble is this. When we are born with two fears, the fear of loud noise and fear of falling. It's a self-preserving. Every other fear we have, including fear of prospecting, is learned. We learn it through evolution. However, a lot of these fears and emotions that govern your behavior and your emotions come very quickly, early on. As a baby, when we are born, we are completely helpless, completely dependent on our caregivers, usually the mother. Babies are 100% dependent on the caregivers. That means their protection, their comfort, their food, their everything comes from people around them, the mom, attachment to mom. If mom is not interested, the baby dies. If the pack is not interested, the youngling will die. So it's a matter of life and death. In other words, we link social acceptance of people around us to life and death. And rightly so, because millions of years ago, if a pack excluded you, you're done. It's over. You're not going to eat, you die. You starve, or something's going to kill and eat you. Compared to other animals, other creatures on the planet, we were slow, weak. That's why we developed the ability to carry spears and clubs and stones. Because everything else was out there either to eat us for lunch or just simply to kill us. A little Scorpio would go tuk, and boing, down we go. So, what we learned early on are two very important lessons. Number one, we are dependent on the people who are close to us, people around you, number one. Number two, everything is a potential threat. That has been encoded in our DNA, in our croc brain, for 285 million years. Now, today, it's fairly safe around there. Not many dinosaurs roaming around Washington, D.C. lately. Not that many, although some politicians may resemble some. Anyway, here's the problem. The programming, the fear, the protective mechanism in our brain, in our croc brain, has not changed one bit. That's why we're so attached to judgments of others, to approval of others. That's why sites like this one, you're watching this, Facebook, is thriving because we're looking for social approval, social acceptance. Instagram, same thing, social approval, social acceptance. It's vitally important to our well-being, and that feeds our psyche as well, with this need and desire to be approved, to be accepted and liked by others. Under normal circumstances, when you have a regular job, it doesn't really mean shit. But here's where we run into trouble. You, as a high-producing or soon-to-be a rockstar real estate agent, need approval of others. In other words, you need to build relationship and connections with strangers, who then you turn into clients, prospects, referrals, listings, and commissions. You see the problem now? So here comes the prospecting. How is that connecting to prospecting? You have the best intention. You got your license, you're excited. You get your extensive training that consists of, here's your phone, here's your desk, good luck. That was my training, right? And then you start. And you get on there. And suddenly you realize that people are rude, people are nasty. It's a rough world out there, and real estate agents, we just don't have the best reputation out there. And you start getting rejection. But first you're all excited and you go, I'm going to work through this. I know that the more calls you make, the better you get at this. I know the longer I stay with it, the better I get at this. And the results will follow, but they don't. On the contrary, something really complicated and difficult is happening. You're linking pain to prospecting. Because the old traditional social coding starts kicking in. Because the person who says, no, I'm not interested, goodbye, and hangs up on you, suddenly triggers pain and fear that's been in your brain, in your crocodile brain, in your ego, in your mind for the last 285 million years. Now you see the problem? It's the neurobiology. It has nothing to do with your motivation. It has nothing to do with your desire to succeed. It's simply built into our brains. The way you react, what you feel, is just a natural human reaction. It's just coded in us. Is it making sense so far? Are you with me so far? So the trouble is the croc brain. See, the croc brain is very powerful. It creates very powerful. The biggest emotion that triggers most of the time, and it's really good at, is fear. triggering fear. So now, you link some pain to prospecting, to calling expired listings, to for sale by owners. What the croc brain takes over is your logical reasoning. It will create constructs. It will fabricate situations to prevent you from doing the things that cause pain. Its job number one is to preserve your life. In its coding, it believes that social rejection that comes with prospecting is a life and death situation. It exaggerates all this. That's why sometimes the emotions are so real and so strong, like me sitting in the fucking car for 22 minutes, my palms sweating, my hands shaking. That's not rational fear. That has nothing to do with ration. There is nobody going to shoot me. Nobody's going to kill me. My life was not in danger, but my croc brain thought it was. Because it's programmed to do it. It exaggerates and comes up with absolutely ludicrous, unbelievably fabricated reasons that only seem real and only feel real. It is not based on logic. It is not based on reality. It's based on preservation. It really just tries to protect you. That's all it does. It's just doing it in a very klutzy way that's getting in the way. Make sense so far? Now, I know we're taking a long answer to what it seems like a short, simple thing. It is not short and it is not simple, but you need to understand what is the real culprit. Before we can remedy it, we need to troubleshoot. Before we can come up with a solution, we need to know what the real problem is. The real problem is not you're not saying enough affirmation, or you're not practicing your scripts long enough. The real problem is up here. Are you getting it so far? Yes? Is that good? Is it helpful? Yes. Good. Okay. So, now that we have a setup, now that you understand where the real culprit is, I'm going to give you some answers that will help you. Yes? Okay. Everybody's getting it? It's good. Yes. Good. I want you to walk away with some practical tools. And one of the tools you're going to walk away with is understanding what is really going on. Why you can't just talk yourself into prospecting. Why we're doing more of it in the same pattern will just associate more pain, will get you more stuck and not solve anything. But you also understand it's essential to your success. Yeah? All right. Now, let me show you this. This is from my program, and I'm not here to sell it to you, called the Core Influence. But I'm going to use some of the materials from it to illustrate and help. All right. First, we need to establish one thing. The more you prospect, the more money you make. There's a direct correlation between the amount of prospecting you do, the amount of follow-up you do, the amount of conversations, connections you build through all the tools, not just the phone, but personal visits, mail, all that. But the more of that you do, the more money you make. There's a direct relation. Agents who do well because they have good funnels that generate leads. Agents who struggle, the number one problem they struggle with is prospecting. If you figure out a way to generate good motivated leads on a consistent basis, you're going to make a lot of money because that's half the problem, half the journey. Yes, there are other elements that fall into place, but without leads, you're stuck, you're screwed, you have a hobby, you don't have a business. So understand that the more you prospect, the wealthier you're going to be. That's the first equation. So let me give you an example. This is the logical approach to the problem. Let's say you have 2 conversations a day with what I call high probability leads. They can be for sale by owners, new expireds, old expireds. They can be you doing door knocking, open house, whatever. Online leads, doesn't matter. Somebody who's thinking about moving. So that means if you work 6 days a week, you have 12 of these conversations. That means by the end of the month, give or take, you're going to do about 48 of those, where you either talk to them on the phone, you meet them in person. Somebody who's thinking about selling. FSBOs expireds would be my choice, but it doesn't matter. Now, using some conservative math, let's say half of those you will turn into leads. You're going to put them in your CRM, you're going to follow up with them with the intention of turning them into listings. And let's be conservative again. And let's say only 3 of those leads turn into listings. You need 8 leads to get 1 good listing. So now by 2 conversations a month, you technically should end up with 3 listings. Now these are my numbers, your numbers will be different, but for the illustration, this will make sense. So now watch. 2 conversations a day, 12 a week, 48 a month, will generate 24 leads and 3 listings. That means it should bring, at least in my area where average price is a little over $500,000, $40,230 in commissions. That means each conversations I have pays $838.12. Now, I know I'm simplifying it, but I'm simplifying to illustrate the point. Here is the point. The outcome of those conversations is not important. The outcome is not important because statistically, I know that certain number of those conversations will result in leads. Certain number of leads will result in listings. Certain number of listings will result in income. So then I can simply divide it, and you can do the same with phone calls. You can do the same with any type of funnel you have set up to generate leads. It's always worth some money. So now I'm going in to each conversation thinking, I cannot control the outcome. I don't control directly what's going to happen. All I know is, based on my math, this conversation is worth $838.12. Puts things in a different perspective, doesn't it? This is a quote from Sidney Walker, who says, the ultimate key to being a successful prospector is not to let anything stop you from making your calls. Unfortunately, for many of us, making those calls is much more complicated than just do it. Then you already understand why. It has to do with our neurobiology. If it was that easy, we would all do it. So here's the matrix. You have a thought. Prospecting is. Real estate is. Expireds are. A lot of it triggered by the croc brain, right? Those thoughts then create certain emotions, either positive or negative emotions. And those emotions will result in actions or lacks thereof. Those actions then reaffirm the thoughts, and now you have a loop. And if you associate pain and struggle to, let's say, working expired listings, you ain't gonna do shit. You're never gonna do it. It's never gonna work because of this loop. So you need to break that loop. Shift the thoughts, they will shift the emotions, they will shift the actions. Shift the actions, they will shift the thoughts, they will shift the emotions. Problem is, money is not the motivator. I hear it so many times, Borino, I need your help. I'm not making enough money, please help me. I get it a lot. Every one of you who comes to me, buys the FSBORINO Expired Plus, whatever, is because you want to make more money. But money alone will not motivate you. Having a giant number in front of you, even that you just saw, the $40,000, is not going to motivate you. It's not going to drive you. Especially if you're going to use that money to pay the bills. That's just not enough. That never is going to drive you. There's got to be something else that's going to drive you, especially long term. Short term, especially if you're against the wall like I was, being fucking homeless, being completely broke, if you're at that point, then yes. The fear of struggle, of not having money to feed and pay the bills and take care of your family will override the fear temporarily of prospecting. But the moment you get from the deep water to the knee-deep water, it's right back. It's all temporary. There's got to be a permanent solution. And the permanent solution is, first, understand prospecting is simple. It's not complicated. Talking to people is not complicated. Knocking on somebody's door, asking them a few questions is not complicated. But the fact that we struggle with it from a neurobiological point of view makes it very hard. That's why you make whatever you make per transaction, $5,000, $8,000, $10,000, because most people cannot do it, not because they don't have the technical skill, not because they don't have the knowledge. They can learn the stuff, the real estate stuff, the real estate mechanics of the business are not that hard. It's dealing with this stuff that makes it so hard. And that's why most people quit and fail. Not because of their knowledge or motivation, because they cannot put up with this stuff. They can never figure out how to shift it. I'm going to show you how to shift it. This is one of the best advice I can give you. Measure your success not by who hangs up and who's nice, not by how many appointments you schedule, but simply help your prospect make an informed decision that feels right for them, what's best for your client. Shift the perspective you have, what you consider success and failure. That's going to help alleviate some of the pressure you put on yourself. Because where we're going to get stuck, where we get stuck so much, is in the judgment. Because the moment you get on the phone, sometimes even before that, you start judging yourself, your approach, the results, the outcome you want, and the outcome you're getting. Right? We have this monkey sitting on our shoulder saying, oh, you should have said it differently. Ah, they hang up on you. They don't like you. You're not doing it right. You need to more practice. You need to buy Borino system. You need to do this, right? So shift what you consider a success. And if success means the client says, you know what, I don't want to move. If they make an informed decision, then that's important. Informed decision, not just trying to brush you off, obviously. Have that to be success. Measure success by the actions you take that you control, not by the outcome. The outcome can be a lesson. It can be a profit. It can be a failure in terms of, I didn't get the appointment. But that's a good lesson. Because you already know going in, not everybody will be interested. You logically already understand that. Make the success helping the client make a informed decision that feels right for them. You know what some salespeople try to do? Help the client make a decision that serves the salesperson. Serves the low status or aggressive agent. Some of them still think they can manipulate clients, they can motivate them, they can change their mind. There is this magical formula or a script or a line that if they say, suddenly the client goes, you are absolutely right, we didn't want to sell, but after you said that, where do we sign? It doesn't work that way. It's impossible. There would be manipulation, there would be force. That never works. You tried it, I tried it. Guide them. Connect with them. If they have a desire, if they have a problem, or you have a solution, you're going to help them make informed decision that feels right to them. That's the secret. Now, you need to be clear what feels right to them, and they need to trust you enough. You need to build enough connection with them so that they can tell you the truth. So as you start the journey of prospecting, following up, calling experts, no need to judge. Just take the next step. What is the next step? So, going back to that example of being in a car. I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to judge the fact that my hands are shaking more than if I had Alzheimer's combined with, I don't know, something else. What is my next step? Next step is open the door of my car. That's all I have to focus on. That's all I'm going to give my brain. What is my next step? Get out of the car. What's the next step? Close the door. What is the next step? Say, shit, I forgot my keys in there. Get my keys out. Close the door again. What's the next step? Just walk up to the house. What's the next step? Just ring the doorbell. What's the next step? Say hello. What's the next step? Notice that nobody actually opened the door. I'm kidding now, but you understand me. Break it down into simple steps you can take. Same for your prospecting. If you start your prospecting session saying, okay, I got 2.5 hours blocked out on my calendar. Let's prospect. You're not going to like it. Your croc brain will kick and go, ah! Pain, 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 pain. Where do I pull the plug? And then you start hearing things like, I'm not ready yet. And I'll give you some in just a second. There are some really great excuses. They all feel right. But they're all bullshit. Because it tries to protect you. So break it up. Simple steps. Baby steps. Little steps. What do I have to do? Just dial a number or push a button if you use a dialer. Listen to some music meanwhile, look at something pleasant meanwhile, do other stuff. When they answer, you have a little conversation. And then the next one, and then the next one. Simple steps. Simple steps. Break it up. What you need to become is defiant about your prospecting. Be defiant. I love that word, defiant. Where you can grab that monkey brain, grab that voice and says, I'm going to do this. I can do this. Others managed. I can do this too. You find that inner strength. Because I tell you one thing, not prospecting is more taxing and it's actually harder than prospecting. Not doing your job, not doing the things, takes more toll on you than actually getting shit done. True or false? Right? It's draining because now you feel guilty, now she didn't get done, you're still busy, you're still doing the busy work. That's safe, but it's not going to get you the results you want. Fighting the excuses, fighting the mindset every day. So the question I have is this. Imagine your mind, your brain is like the bus. So you have different people inside. There is the cool guy, there's the smart guy, or gal. There is the driver, the aggressive, let's go get him type, right? The FSBORINO type. And there's the fearful guy. There is the warrior that worries a lot. Who do you let you drive? Who do you let sit behind the steering wheel and drive your bus? There was a movie. What was that Disney movie? You know, those little characters inside the mind? We all have them. And if you're not paying attention, if you go subconscious, if you're not vigilant, the scared guy, the broke guy, the complainer, the warrior will drive the bus. Because your croc brain wants it safe, wants to keep you alive. Time to grab the steering wheel. Let the cool guy drive it. Let the confident guy drive it. Let the wealthy guy drive it. Put somebody competent behind the wheel. You control it. Although sometimes it feels like we don't. We really do. Put the right person behind the wheel of your bus. So here's what I can give you. This is straight from Core Influence. It's a little exercise that helped me to get in the right state. So imagine you're about to prospect. You're about to pick up the phone or go knock on doors. Before you do that, pick an object, a person or an animal that to you represents unstoppable confidence. It can be a real person, it can be a made-up person. Pick somebody. What pops in your mind right now? Yeah, that one. That's the right one. Describe it in detail. What do you see? What do you hear? What kind of sounds do you hear? And what emotions do you feel when that image is locked into your brain? Is this you? How about this one? Does this represent you? Would you let this powerful, unstoppable beast drive your bus? Hell yeah. How about this one? Soaring way up there. How about this one? The fighter, who's not afraid of pain, who just goes right for it. Trained, focused. How about this one? The winner, the champion. How about this one? Unstoppable, like a rock, being the guide, being the light that helps your clients navigate through the seas, through the storms. How about this one? Hold one that inspires you, maybe the one you've seen on your screen right now or the one that is in your mind. Put that image behind the wheel of your bus. And find a reason to make a call. Your mind, the monkey brain, is very good at figuring out why you shouldn't. And it feels so real, right? Oh, this expired? It's too overpriced. They're not serious about selling. This number cannot be a right number. That doesn't match the area code of the city I target. My script, I need to work on that script. That is not really the right approach. There's got to be, this is one of my favorite. There's got to be a better way. I see this ad, and I don't know who the person is behind it, but I see it. My broker told me to cold call, and I cold call, and I didn't get results. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be an easier way. It's nothing but your croc brain pulling another bullshit over you. You already know what works. You already know what it takes. You already know that the posts you see on Rockstars and everywhere else, the successful agents all around you, do certain things very consistently. They have different traits and different qualities, but if you analyze their business, it's very similar. One of the things they do consistently, if they're earning 200, 300, 400,000 and more, guys like Jimmy Noble and many of you guys, my Rockstar students, they prospect daily, they follow up daily, they have certain systems, and they go for it. You can do the same thing. Every single one of you is capable of doing the same thing. Because the formula you're going to see is this. You're going to put the right emotions in place, which is excitement, passion, positive. Your thoughts will be aligned by asking the right questions. What is my next step? Your intention is, I'm going to help people make an educated decision, and some will go for it and some will not, and that's okay. I don't judge my success or failure based on that. I control what I control, which is the number of attempts I make, the number of people I approach. The outcome is completely out of my control. I don't worry about that. That's where your power is going to come from. That's the secret. Books. I would like you to get 3 that helped me tremendously. My favorite. Now, you may have different ones. Post them. If you read something that inspired you, that helped you, there are plenty. But these are the 3 that make a big impact. Number 1, my good man Tony Robbins. This man changed my life. Book I recommend is Awaken the Giant Within. He has others, but this was the one that was a breakthrough for me. The second one I would recommend is by Jen Sincero, called You Are a Badass. Some of you read it. Good book, right? And the third one is by Dr. Joe Dispenza. You may have seen him in the movie The Secret. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Get these 3 books. Please read them. But more importantly, not just read them. All 3 have certain exercises and things they would like you to do. The power is absorb the information, apply, use it. Absorb, apply, and use it. Great 3 books. Read all 3. And I'm going to give you daily confidence boosts. These are just little simple steps you can do every day to boost your confidence, to feel better, more in control, more powerful. These are things that work for me. Number one, make one person smile. Make somebody smile every day. Whether it's online, offline, on Facebook, in person. I prefer doing it in person. But anyway is good as long as you make them smile. Genuine intention to make somebody feel better. Number two, be okay with feeling nervous. When you're picking up the phone, be okay with that. For some reason, we're entering an era where all these feelings of discomfort all of a sudden mean a lot. They don't mean a whole lot. I sometimes still feel nervous when I do certain things, although I've done them for a long time. Be okay with that. Don't let that be the deciding factor. That's the whole secret. Practice saying hello to strangers, just in a simple social interactions in Starbucks, in your church, your fitness club, anywhere. Just say hi, nothing else, doesn't need to be fancy. Put together a vision board. Use the tool like the vision board to remind you what is the big picture, where you're in it. It is not about paying bills. It is not about just making some money. It is about architecting your lifestyle. And to get to that point, have a roadmap. This is what I'm after. This is what I'm getting at. Gail had a great example, the ring came true. Paul Rallo, another one of my students, for a long time wanted a beautiful big fishing boat. Came true. Picture perfect from the vision board, almost identical to the one he got. Most of my cars, my lifestyle, vision board. My wife, vision board. The lifestyle you want can be yours if you help your mind, your croc brain, calm down and focus on what really matters. Why are you in it in the first place? Great tool. Highly recommend. Put a giant board right there in front of you and put one phone call into perspective. If I don't call, I'm pushing this away. If I'm not going to talk to these people and help them, I'm pushing all that away, plus I'm pushing them away and my opportunity to be a huge impact on somebody's life. Because you don't know until you know. And until you make a connection, there is nothing. And you will lose that shot if you're not taking it. You know what the Gretzky said? You're going to miss 100% of the shots you never take. Keep taking shots. Put together a vision board. Exercise in the morning. Set the morning right. Get the tone going of getting a movement, 30 minutes to an hour every day. If you start in the morning, Hannah started a ritual recently. She started a routine where every morning at 6 o'clock she does yoga. Her energy has changed, the way she feels changed. Her productivity changed, her health is changing, everything is changing. Start your day with high energy workout, exercise, or even just go for a walk. Do something, get going, get moving. It shouldn't be Facebook and coffee. Ask for tips and advice. Whether it's ask me, what should I do, or just talking to strangers, what do you think? How do you like that car? That's a cute dog, what's its name? Oh, I see you drinking that new Frappuccino unicorn shit from Starbucks. How do you like it? That kind of stuff. Get in a habit of connecting and talking to strangers. Make them feel comfortable talking to you. Great skill to develop. I do this all the time. Ask for people's opinions, not just online. Do this in person. Read daily. The books I showed you should be your starting point. But get in a habit, half an hour a day. There are tons of great books. Real estate, business, self-help, whatever inspires you. Success stories. Tell a joke, make people laugh. This world has become so doom and gloom lately, right? With the Korea and this and politics and come on. Lighten up somebody's life. Or just a day. Do something daring. Dare yourself. Business or otherwise. Help someone. Be helpful. Whether it's clients, people around you, your family, your friends, fellow realtors, be cool and helpful. Sharing and being able to inspire somebody and teach somebody will make you a master quicker than anything. That's one of the reasons I like coaching. Teach somebody. If you know something, and I guarantee you every single one of you knows something really cool, some really cool shit, share it, teach it, be a giver. The principles I teach through the Expired Plus and FSBORINO and Presentation Plus, all the systems I have, share one thing in common. They're based on contribution first and foremost. Where you're cool and helpful and giving first before you ask to receive. Do something that feels good. What feels good to you? Like, there are things I enjoy. Riding a motorcycle, doing yoga, spending time with my family, traveling. What is it for you? Do more of that. Treat yourself with love. And then be prepared. Practice when it doesn't matter. Role-playing daily will help you overcome fears, insecurities, and any type of negative thoughts that you're dealing with prospecting. If you know what to say, if you're comfortable saying it, if you role-play and practice it, not only will you get better on the mechanical, on the conscious level, but subconsciously, you're reprogramming your subconscious mind. This is how I want the conversations to go. And you're going to get more of it. Use the tools. Use the tools available from me, from others. Be an active seeker of knowledge and skill, and then apply the knowledge and skill. Do your daily confidence rituals. Like for me, before I get on these broadcasts with you or coaching calls, I have a little physical ritual I do to get my energy going. You notice that I don't sleep here very much. I don't yawn a whole lot during these broadcasts. There's a reason for that. When you do your calls, for example, always stand up. Use your body to be in a confident state, powerful state. So that way you're ready when it matters. You deliver your A game when it matters. Those are the secrets, my friends. Was that helpful? This is really good. Ken, I really like your comment. Ken says, that's the key. I call with the intention of helping them. That's it. I identify the problem ahead of time and have the solution. So I'm simply presenting the solution to them. The conversation is much more natural when you're helping them and not helping yourself. No pressure on me. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You develop a connection and trust first. You feel good because you're not attached to the outcome. And then you confidently follow through. That's really the whole point. Absolutely, yes. Service to others, great perspective, says Jeffrey. True. Right, that was mine as well. It's a struggle if you're not committed enough. Gloria, you're absolutely right. And you know what I can tell you guys? This business is not for everybody. And there will be some of you, some of others, who will never figure this out, who will never overcome it, and either will struggle for some time or they quit. That's the reality of it. Because not everybody is willing to pay the price and climb the mountain. Not everybody. Not everybody is made to do that. And you will find something else. The problem is if you don't overcome these demons, if you don't get hold of that croc brain, you're going to set up different circumstances, different conditions, same outcome. It's going to repeat itself. So I encourage you, it's more fun to get to the bottom of it, use the tools, use these things we talked about, and many others, and get it going. Because you know what's on the other side? The sense of victory, the sense of conquering, the sense of discipline, the sense of passion, the sense of success that can get you to where you want to be, to that lifestyle. And it's much closer than you think. It can be weeks or months away. That's the cool thing. It doesn't take years and years and years and years. You can turn it out like that. And remember what I always tell you, it's going to be hard either way. Being broke is hard. Being successful is hard. Being a successful real estate agent is hard. Struggling real estate agent is hard. It's going to be hard either way. There'll be obstacles and challenges no matter what. There'll be discomfort no matter what. Working in the cube 9 to 5, 5 days a week, to me, is way more painful because you don't control your time. You're trading most of your life for a fictitious security of a paycheck. That to me seems a lot harder than picking up the phone for 2-3 hours a day, or prospecting, or dealing with some rejection. It's going to be hard either way. It's going to be fun either way. You can have it either way you want. You have the freedom. Your job is to choose, and choose wisely. Because you're making these little choices every day, little steps every day, that little by little build your destiny, build your future, build your income. From the way you treat yourself, you talk to yourself, the thoughts you think, the pictures you look at. You cannot walk into the kitchen with a chicken and come up with a cooked steak. That's impossible. So if you talk to yourself, if you think, if you watch the news, if you read certain books, watch certain movies, do certain things, if the input is on the negative side, if it doesn't inspire, it doesn't push you, don't expect the output to be different from what you put in. It doesn't work that way. So be diligent and vigilant, two very difficult words said back to back. What you put in, and then expect a different outcome. Groovy? All right, good people. Ben says, started prospecting a week ago with the suggestions you proposed, and already I'm helping 3 FSBOs. Awesome. 4 days later, I bought the program. I agree with FSBORINO. Just start calling and do the best with what you have. I had no knowledge, just thought, let me try and be helpful. Messed up calls, so bad, but some responded. Well, here's the cool thing, Ben, and kudos by the way, Ben, for going for it, getting the FSBORINO and actually getting out there and using it. Here's the cool thing. You're learning this stuff. You're mastering these things, and they're not easy. I know they're not easy. But think about it this way. You contact a FSBO today. Botch it completely. Say the wrong thing. Call just goes horribly wrong. What's the worst outcome out of that? You learned a couple of things. Here's the best part. Tomorrow there'll be another FSBO, and the day after another, and then another, and then another. There will always be FSBOs. There will always expires. There will be always more people who need your help. But the difference is this. Unlike the first call, the second one will be better. And then a better. And then a better. And then a little better. And then a little better. And next thing you know, you really know how to talk to FSBOs. With these little steps, you can very quickly become the guy or the girl who simply picks up the phone and says, hey, what's going on? You have a house for sale. Awesome. Would you cooperate with real estate agents? Fantastic. Just a little simple conversation. Let me swing by for 5-10 minutes, take a quick look so I can let my buyer leads know. I don't even know if I have a buyer yet. Let's take a quick look first. Can you give me a 5-minute tour tomorrow? Super easy, super simple. You walk in, ask a few questions. How have you been selling? That's awesome. Where are you guys going to go? You found the house yet? Outstanding. Any offers yet? Nothing yet. And you've been selling for 2 months now? Fantastic. So if the house doesn't sell, can you stay here? What are you going to do? Have you thought about interviewing agents? What if there was an agent? What if there was somebody you like and trust and there was a possibility to put more money in your pocket even after this? And you just go on and on. Guess why I know all this shit so well? Because of practice, of course. So you have these conversations. Some will say yes, some will say no. Some will say maybe. Some will say get lost. Some will say cool tie. Some will say I love your car. Some will say where are you from? Where's that weird accent from? All kinds of stuff. And you'll be prepared to handle every single one because you know how to talk to strangers. You know how to connect with people, make them feel comfortable. And you smile and you have a good time. Because what you know also is out of maybe 4 for sale by owners, statistically, 1 will list with you. That's what I would expect. I don't promise you, don't guarantee it, but that's my expectation. You know what I mean? So what do I have to do? Talk to for sale by owners, put some of my follow-up, follow the system, because statistically I know 70% list with a real estate agent. Guess who that agent will be? Not all of them, obviously. But it starts with having good conversation. It starts with building trust and rapport right away. It starts with you feeling good about what you do. Because if you struggle and if you're nervous, it's going to come across. So, 2 choices you have. Change how you feel, do it in spite of how you feel. Notice the option not doing it does not exist. So if I'm nervous, I'll do it. If I feel good, I'll do it. I focus on things I control, which is my actions, my activities. That's all I got to do. And that's how you build the lifestyle you want. That's how you change. That's how you grow. That's how you become stronger. Just like the resistance training with the weights. It's going to hurt a little. It's going to be hard a little. But that's what's going to get you there. If the weight is too easy, too light, you're not doing shit. Yeah? Is there an MP3 in the listing university of you motivating that we can put on our phone? Jeffrey would like to know. For the car before calling. Yes, Jeffrey, there is. And if you have My Success Plus, or if you are a member of the current boot camp or past boot camp, there is a program called Mind Matrix, and there's one track, it's an audio track of Mind Matrix, talks about motivation, to set you up, to connect with strangers, to prepare your mind to be in a positive state, upbeat state, passionate state. Yeah, it's about a 10-minute recording, cool 3D audio. We record it in a professional studio for you so that you feel better. So log into the university, go under programs, look up Mind Matrix. I use it a lot. It's not 120 seconds. You cannot do it in 120 seconds. It has to do with the mind cycles. So you need to spend a little more time first you need to relax. You need to go in alpha first. Change your breathing, change your thought patterns. That doesn't happen in 120 seconds. At least I'm not good enough to induce you so quickly using hypnosis, which is parts of what I use in the Mind Matrix. So you're going to need a little more time for that. But check it out. It's pretty good. All right, my friends. Noel has a question. Hi, Borino. Got a couple of past clients who said they referred me to their friend or family, but reluctant to give me their phone. I've been wanting to get their phone or info so I can call. One of them sold their home with a different agent. Sucks. How can I ask phone without being pushy, needy agent? Noel, you know what the real problem is? They don't trust you. They're not 100% confident that you're going to get the job done. They are worried that you're either going to drop the ball or bother them or they're going to look bad. So once they have that impression about you, there's very little you can really do to remedy the situation with these people. Now, you can fix it in the future. One thing I would do is just have a very open conversation with them. Like, look, guys, I know these friends want to sell. I am competent and confident I can help them. I would love to help. You're a little hesitant to give me their phone number. I understand you're worried. I don't know what you're worried about. Can you tell me? I promise not to bother them. My job is not to pester them. My job is to see if we match, if we are a good match, if we click, and if I can help them. If they have a problem to which I have a solution. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not here to push. I'm not here to pressure. Getting the commission is just an outcome of the job if I do well for these people. That's it. But first and foremost, let's figure out if we're a match and if I can help them. That's it. So have a nice open conversation with them. See, what I sense from your post, no, the problem is you seem too needy. Like it's really important to you to get that phone number. The right intention, the wrong mindset. You're afraid that they're going to go with somebody else, and that fear is pushing you and creating emotions that push away instead of pull. See, if I come in just being cool, like, let's see if I can help, let's see if I can be of help, would love to chat with them a little bit. You need to find out what is it really about you that's preventing your friends from giving their referral the phone number to you. You need to get to the bottom of it. Because if you don't fix it, it's going to repeat itself with other sphere of influence. And you already know that 47% of listings this year will be a result of referrals. So you're losing out on a lot of business if you don't fix it. And you can. It's just something that you probably do or say that is just not resonating with the people. Make sense? Okay. All right. Was that helpful? Good. All right. Very good. So, my dear friends, looks like we covered the mindset. Was that helpful? Do you know how to shift that? Do you know how to work on it? Were some of these tips helpful? Is there anything else that works for you that you'd like to share with us? Please post it. We'd love to see it. We'd love to read about it. We do this every Tuesday, my friends. Hour well spent. Coffee is almost gone. Time to call it a day. Here's my challenge to you. To start on a path of doing something differently. Changing, shifting your habits of prospecting and doing things you know you got to do. Shifting your mind. Start with just one. And what I encourage you to do, as we're going to wrap up in a minute or two, just make one phone call. Just one. Just dial one. One FSBO, one expired, one lead, whatever. Just one. And see what happens. And don't be attached. Just one conversation. One simple conversation. Just one. Start there and start building. Can you do it? I think you can. Everybody can. Yeah? Fantastic. You guys, thanks for being here today. I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry about the interruption. I don't know what happened. Suddenly our connection dropped and we're back and all is well. We're going to post it on replay as well. You'll be able to watch it. For those of you who are in my current bootcamp, looking forward to doing another session with you. We're going to start with expireds tomorrow. It's going to be exciting. And for the rest of you, have a wonderful, productive, passionate, positive, optimistic Tuesday. Always great chatting with you. We're going to see you again next Tuesday right here on Rockstars. Coach FSBORINO signing off. Wishing you all a fantastic Tuesday. Let's go get them. Bye, everybody. I'll talk to you next week.